episode 18 of the Made by Jo Crafty podcast. My name is Jo, I'm a knitter, sewer and crocheter based in Fife in Scotland, and this is my knitting podcast where I talk to you about everything I've been working on recently. Firstly, I want to say a huge thank you to anyone that has joined me since I last uploaded. My wonderful friend Rebecca from Moving Stitches did a video on podcasters she recommends, and she featured me, which was really unexpected but also really lovely. Rebecca is a great friend, and yeah, it was just really nice, and quite a few people have come over to the channel from there, so it's lovely to meet you all. It's also lovely to meet you if you've appeared organically. I know that YouTube has been letting me know that I've been reaching more people, so if you're new and this is the first time you're watching, it is lovely to meet you. I hope you enjoy. Today is a little bit different because I'm in a different place again. I wanted my Christmas tree behind me, if I could get it behind me. I am a Christmas girl and I just wanted to have a festive background for the last podcast of the year. Like I said, this is episode 18. I've been doing this for 1 year? 2 years? Honestly, I have no idea. I think 1 year or 2 years maybe. But to be at 18 episodes feels really crazy. Particularly when I started, I obviously had no subscribers and now I've got 800 and something. So delightful to have you all here and thank you for joining me. Today we have a visit from Christmas past. I had to give away some gift knits last week, so I filmed a little clip of that and of them to show you. I've got some finished objects I have finished since, and I've got a boatload of whips that I'm working on at the moment. I wish I was coming to you with like a, here's my wrap up of the year, I've finished all my whips, but that's just not realistic for me. I have so many whips still going on that are not going to get done by January. And I'm okay with that because you don't have to finish or start anything new at the new year if you don't want to. It is just a passage of time, so don't put any pressure on yourself. But I'm gonna go to Christmas past Jo first because that's probably the easiest thing to do, and then we'll come right back to me. Hello and hi from past Jo. I don't know when I'm gonna have time to film a podcast, hopefully this week, but today is Monday the 16th of December, and today is Friendsmas, so I'm going to be gifting a couple of things to some of my friends that I wanted to make sure I showed as part of the podcast. So I'm just going to run through them now. I have a sewn object, which is actually over there I need to get, and I have two knitted objects. So we'll start with the knitted objects. The first that I finished first was self-drafted, and I've just got it in this little gift bag, this reusable gift bag that I made. And this is for my friend Sophie. She will have it by the time this goes up, so I don't mind saying that. It's for my friend Sophie, and I have knit her a self-drafted hood. So this hood is made, I don't know if, was I knitting it last time? I can't remember if I was or not, but this is a self-drafted hood. It is made with one strand is a Zauberball, a crazy Zauberball by Shoppel, and the other strand was just a strand of cashmere merino that I had in stash, and I basically just made this up. I cast on for what was going to be a swatch, and then I just carried that along the top, and then I picked up stitches either side and just knit down and joined them under the chin. And then I changed it to 1 by 1 rib on the bottom as a cowl. If I take down my hair, so let me just take my hair out and pop this on. So it's just a knit hood for her to wear instead of wearing a scarf and stuff. I popped a little ribbon in to make it drawstringable if she wants to. And then you just open it up a bit. And if you go inside somewhere and you want to not take it off, but you don't want it over your head, you can just leave it down and it just looks like a regular hood. And I think it's awesome. I'm hoping that Sophie will also think it's awesome, because I really like it and I would make one for myself. Considering I just made it up, I'm pretty pleased with how it looks. So this is the first finished object. It took me about a week to do, and that's because I was knitting on other things as well, but if you were knitting on this, like solely this, it would probably only take you a couple of days. Oh, hi Albie. Let me just pop this back in the bag and then I will show you item number 2. Okay, I've got it back in the bag. Item number 2 is a pair of knit mittens, and these are the Alma mittens. Now I can't remember who these are by, and you're on my phone so I can't look it up, but I'll pop up the name on the screen. They are the Alma mittens and it's a paid for pattern. Now I'm going to sneeze. Bless me. So these are the Alma mittens. I knit mine in leftovers, so scraps that I had. So the purple is Drops Lima, and I don't know the colour number, sorry, and the white is Drops Nepal that my mum had in off-white. So they're actually slightly different gauges. The Lima is definitely thinner than the Nepal, but I didn't find it mattered that much. Things I changed in the pattern, I added 2 Latvian braids around the cuff because I loved the way that that looked, and I got that idea from Florence. I was going to say Florence in the machine then, but Knits with Florence, or Knits by Florence, had that idea, and I took that from her. And then I also changed to the pattern, I changed needle sizes. I knit in a couple of needle sizes up because the person that I'm knitting these for has big hands, so I wanted to make sure that it would fit. And Florence, again, suggested doing that because she has big hands and it worked for her. So my sort of gauge for this was Angus. I used Angus's hands to make sure they would fit, and they fit him. So I'm hopeful that they will fit my friend as well. So I knit both of these. This is the front. Let me show you one. This is the front. It's got hair on it now. And then the back and the thumb. And if I pop one on, they just look glorious. And I really love the thumb, where the thumb sits on these, because unlike the traditional one where the thumb sort of comes straight up from the middle, it sits to the side, which I think makes it feel a bit nicer on the hand. These, because of the gauge, are super thick, which means they're going to be super cozy, and I will be gifting these today as well. I showed my sister these and she was obsessed with them, and I think maybe in the future I would make her a pair. She loved them because she was like, oh, they give real like Scandinavian Christmas vibes, which is obviously where they originally come from. And she said that it reminded her a lot of the traditional Christmas films that we like to watch. And like the elves and Santa Claus and all that are usually wearing some sort of Scandinavian item, because that's the North Pole and that's what cinema does. Don't know, I'm trying to explain that to you. Just stalling really while I tie a bow on these mittens. I don't have a gift bag for these ones, so all I'm doing for these is tying a little dotted ribbon around them, and I'll pop them under my tree just like that and gift them to her this evening. And then the final thing I've made is the sewn finished object, and this one is in some reusable wrapping paper that I made, which is quite literally a big square of fabric overlocked at the edges that you can then wrap around presents. I made this year based off of something I saw on Instagram. I've used it already for 2 gifts, this wrapping paper, and the bag I've reused twice already, and it just like folds up into your wrapping. And so my sewn finished object, you've seen these before, is the sewn fleeces that I have been making. This is the Let It Snow fleece by Isa in Stitches, and I have made several of these now for friends and family. I've also helped family members make these, and this one I have modified. So I didn't want to do a normal, the popper sort of placket that all the ones I've done so far have. I wanted to do a zipper, just because I thought that that would be a nice change. So that is what I have done with this one. Let me reverse. So we have a zipper up the middle instead of the placket. We have bias binding, green bias binding along the top and along the hem. It's got pockets set into the side seams and just regular folded cuff sleeves. I've also added a cute little label that says very slow fashion, and it does have hand wash instructions on the bottom, but I'll just tell him that he can chuck it in the washing machine, and it's homemade, so hopefully if it needs fixed I can fix it. But this is my third item that I will be gifting today. I haven't really done that much gift knitting. I know that this suggests that I have, but I'm sure I'll explain that in the other part of the podcast. I just wanted to make sure that I had filmed myself talking about these 3 items because I am giving them away today, and hopefully towards the end of this week I'll film a podcast and show you all the other things I've been working on. But I wanted to give some airtime, particularly to these mittens, because these were a dream. I really love them. I want to make myself a pair. Angus actually said he would like a pair. My sister obviously expressed interest, so these are a big hit, and I could see myself adapting the colourwork chart as well, so it's not floral and doing something else like a snowflake or something similar. So yeah, I really wanted to make sure you saw these. I'm also really proud of the hood that I've made. I know that clip, I just watched it back, is a little bit crazy. My hair's a bit everywhere and it looks a bit messy, but when I tried it on, when I finished it, I was really pleased. I love the way it looks. And I think it looks great when your hair's not crazy like mine was. You can just chuck it on, and I think it'll be a good thing. Sophie does a lot of sport, so once she's finished her sport, chucking that on for her walk home or while she's walking to work. I just think it's a nice alternative to a hat and a scarf. Kind of does 2 in 1 and keeps you cozy. So I'm really proud of all the things that I've gift knit. I hope that my friends will like them, or gift sewn. I'm sure they will. They're very, they really appreciate what I do. So apologies if you can hear Albie. He's licking. Albie, stop licking. Thank you. Oh, and he just does it as soon as I start talking. But I'm really proud of all these things that I've made. I don't think I currently have any other gift knits on the needles. I was thinking about making something for my mum. It's not happened. I knit my dad a stocking that I showed in my gift knit thing that I was going to knit my mum one. I haven't done that yet, and it's about a week, just over a week until Christmas, and I've just decided that I'm not going to be pushing myself to do a bunch of other gift knitting. I've got some other projects I need to work on / I really want to work on, and I knew that I had these deadlines for the 16th, and it's now all done, and I'm finally finished all the things. I did finish that fleece today. I finished the mittens 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and Sophie's hood's been done for ages. So I'm really glad it's all done. I'm going to wrap this fleece back up, put it under the tree, and then relax, because I've got a couple of hours till everyone comes round, and I'm going to watch a Christmas film, I think. But I'll pass you back to future Jo, and thank you for the Christmas past Jo segment. Okay, so you will have seen my lovely gift knits. I am so pleased with them, and they went so well, and once I gifted them they were really well received. It took me a minute to explain what on earth the hood was to Sophie as she was holding it upside down and was kind of like, what is this? But after I explained it, she put it straight on and she loved it. And my other friend could not stop talking about the mittens. She was obsessed with them. So really pleased that they went down well. But let's get into some stuff that I can show you right now. So last time we spoke, I was working on my November socks. For those that are new, I was knitting a pair of socks every single month this year. And I had my November ones as a whip last time we spoke, and I finished these. These are my November socks. They are a plain vanilla sock other than their colourwork section. The colourwork section I took from a free pattern, which is called Cozy, was it free? I'm not sure if it was free now, but it's called the Cozy Christmas Socks, and I took this pattern from there and I just inserted it into a pair of vanilla socks. The main yarn here is by West Yorkshire Spinners. It is their colour Hollyberry. I actually gifted the leftovers to my mum and she's knitting a pair of socks in this colour right now. But these are the Hollyberry colourway. And then all of the colours I used in this section are Filicalana Arvetta, except the white, which was just a mini, I think, an undyed mini that I had in stash. So that is all of them. I did do a pop of colour at the top there in Arvetta's red squirrel colourway, which I really enjoyed. And then all I did was repeat it on the second sock. These are covered in hair because I was looking after my best friend's golden retriever yesterday. So a lot of my stuff from today is going to be covered in her hair because I sat down on the rug to set up this and my tights that I'm wearing with this dress are now covered in her white hair. So I apologise, but they have some lovely hair on them. As I was saying, I finished these pretty quickly after the last podcast and I've been wearing them so much. And I really enjoy the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, if I'm honest. When I first started using it, I thought it felt quite rough, but now I've been using it a bit more. I just know that that means it's very strong, because I've been wearing these a lot and I haven't had any issues. I'm actually, see if I can do this without flashing you. I'm actually currently wearing a pair that I made last year, and this red colour is also West Yorkshire Spinners, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever. Obviously the benefit of Christmas socks is that I'm only wearing them in sort of end of November, December time, and then I will put them away, so they're not getting annual wear. But I would recommend, for anyone that's looking for hard wearing socks, for me so far the West Yorkshire Spinners has been hard wearing. So that is my November socks, which I have finished. Sticking on the socks trend, this is a half finished object. I've not finished both of them, but I want to show you these because they were part of a little mal that I was taking part in, and also because I've stolen the needle, the sock needle, to work on another pair of socks. So I actually don't have the capacity to cast these on at the moment. And these are my Strictly socks. So Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful does a Strictly sock along every year, and you knit alongside watching Strictly Come Dancing. I found this was the first time I was doing it this year, and I found it quite difficult to keep up with, only because my partner does not like Strictly Come Dancing. He doesn't want to watch it, which is totally fine, but I found myself not wanting to watch it on my own. I like watching it with other people and getting excited about the dancing, so I watched a couple of episodes on my own. Albie, can you stop licking? Thank you. I watched a couple of episodes on my own, but then just didn't really enjoy it. So I wasn't watching it at the time because it was difficult to wrangle TV time on a Saturday night to watch Strictly when I know Angus doesn't like it. So I ended up not really watching. Like, to this day I haven't watched the final, and I was going to, and then the Who one was spoiled to me on social media, so now I know. But I did manage to finish one sock in the time that I was watching Strictly. I finished this one, I did the toe not watching, but everything else was knit watching Strictly. I actually did the toe while the final was on, I just wasn't watching it. But I love this colourway. This is the Twinkling Lights sock set from a homespun house. This was part of their 4 weeks 4 Sundays of Advent last year. It comes with this glorious purple sparkly mini. I actually should just show you it on the toe because that's much easier. And then it comes with this gorgeous speckled pink colourway. When I first started knitting it, I thought it would be more rainbow speckles, but actually when I wound it up I could see quite clearly what it was going to be like, and I think it's really nice. This is the opposite of the West Yorkshire Spinners. This yarn is technically the same base, 75/25, but this yarn is unbelievably soft, and I don't know why, but I don't know how they do it. I've raved about their sock sets and their sock yarn a million times, but this homespun house yarn, I don't know what wizardry they put in this. I have a pair of cabled socks. I knit the Hibernal socks by Summerlee Knits in one of their sock sets from last year, and I wore them quite a lot and I haven't had any issues with wear, but obviously this is only the second sock that I would be knitting out of their yarn, and I haven't worn it, so I can't comment too much on the wear of these, but I have never heard bad things about their sock yarn. And I know I watched Molly's YouTube channel, who is the dyer behind Homespun House, and she wears hers all the time and never seems to say anything about wear. So all that to say, Albie, stop licking please. Stop it. He's just licking his paws and things. I don't know why. He does this all the time. Shh. Thank you. This is just a vanilla sock. Again, I did the pop of colour on the cuff, which was I think 3 rounds. Right, we're gonna fall out. Stop licking your leg. Your leg is fine. It's gonna get sore if you keep licking it. Would you like something else to play with? Or just stare at me? Just stare at me. Okay. If I start talking again and you start licking again, we're gonna have words. This is just a vanilla sock. I think I did 3 rounds of the colourwork contrast top, and then I think I did 15 rounds of cuff, and then I just knit a vanilla sock with an Eye of Partridge heel. Someone told me that after the last episode and me completely forgetting what the heck the words were. This is an Eye of Partridge heel flap. Anyway, and I've just done a heel flap and gusset and a normal toe. I am obsessed with the heel flap and gusset at the moment. It's my favourite heel method. I find it fits the best. The socks I'm wearing today have a fish lips kiss heel, I think, and they just don't fit quite as well as the heel flap and gusset ones. I know they take slightly longer, but oh well. I've actually just recently introduced my mum to the shadow wrap heel tutorial. A shadow wrap heel tutorial that came in one of the patterns that I was knitting. I introduced it to my mum. Oh, sorry, I just hit you. And she's obsessed with it. She keeps using it for all of her socks because she finds it's so much quicker, and she hates picking up stitches to do the heel flap and gusset. So I actually really like the socks that I knit with my shadow wrap heel, the tutorial it came from. And so I might try that on my next pair of socks to see if they really do fit me as well as the heel flap and gusset does. But that is my 2 pairs of finished or half finished socks. Someone was at my door then. And the last thing I've got to show you is a finished jumper. Now, the ends are not woven in, okay? I'm saying that now because I'm not going to faff around trying to not show you the ends. The ends are not woven in, there's ends everywhere. But this has been a mammoth project. It's been shown in several podcasts now, and it's finally blooming done. So I knit this jumper in Drops Daisy, in 2 colours. My main colour was this lovely orange colour, which is colour number 23, and my contrast was this, which is colour number 16, and this is called Lemonade. I don't know what this is called, I say that every single time. And I finally finished my Lilyhammer pullover. Let me just get it up. This guy, she's a she. This was a challenge. This was a big knit. Let me see if I can go on my knees so I can actually show you a little bit more. Yeah, this was a big knit, this jumper. It is knit bottom up. I do not enjoy bottom up construction, but I did it. It's knit bottom up, and then you do steeking, so you knit into it steeking stitches on the arms and the neck, something I'd never done before. So lots of new techniques. You then obviously steek to do the 2 sleeves and the neckline, and I love this jumper. Once I had done the body, I let it sit for quite a while before I picked up the sleeve. The first sleeve went super duper quickly, and then the second sleeve I battled through, if I'm honest. It was second sleeve syndrome for sure, and also just the fact that like I'd done so much of this colour work in these colours by the time I got to the second sleeve that I was like, come on, give me something new to do. Again, there's ends everywhere, I haven't woven them in yet. So let me just put it on to show you. This jumper is an oversized 80s style jumper, so it does have extra, this isn't blocked yet either because I just haven't had the time to block it, but it does have lots of extra room here. Not only is the pattern itself oversized, but I knit a size larger than I usually would. Traditionally, I would go for a size 3, and I chose size 4 because I wanted to test knit this jumper, and she'd filled all of her size 3 slots. So this is 1 size bigger than I would usually do, and it is a test knit for Ellis Knitwear. This will be released on the 20th of December, which is today as I'm filming and hopefully getting this up on the internet for you. So this jumper is being released today. I would recommend it. I think it's super comfortable. I think it looks really nice, but just be aware that some people flew through it, a couple of people, but most people did say it took quite a long time. It's all over colour work. It is oversized. Like it's gonna take it's gonna take a while. So commit to it because it's a gorgeous jumper. I think it fits really nicely, and once it's blocked, this bit's gonna relax a little bit because that's where the steeking stitches are. But once it's blocked, this is going to be absolutely stunning, and I'm going to wear it all winter. But just, it comes out today, and I've been looking for a Scandinavian inspired jumper that I could knit in a bright colour, and this really, really fit the bill for me. The Drops Daisy is super duper soft. I'm very much enjoying it. I think it's going to pill like crazy. People have told me it's going to pill like crazy. So I'm expecting that, but I'm okay with it because it's a soft jumper that I think is going to be really nice over the winter. And yeah, so this is my Lilyhammer. It has been on the needles for quite a while now. It's finally done. I just need to weave the ends in, but I like to do that post blocking. So I need to block it and then weave the ends in. But it is being released today, the 20th of December, if you want to get your hands on it, and it's by Ellis Knitwear, and I'm sure it'll be available on Ravelry. And I will have a Ravelry project page, so I will put that down below and I will show you. That will take you directly to the pattern if you want to buy it. So this is my Lilyhammer. And that is my last finished object for today. Joe of Christmas Present, don't think I've showed you very much, but I know that Joe of Christmas Past showed you 3 things, so it's not the end of the world. I do have one other sewn, oh no, I think I showed you the sewn bag. I think I showed you the sewn bag in that little past clip. I've been sewing up some more of that gift wrapping that I think I showed in the clip, and I've been loving it, and people so far have had a really good reaction to it. I actually sewed up my best one yet, which I'm going to be gifting to one of my neighbours. Let me get it because I do think it's the best one I've done. This little guy, he's made with quilting cotton on both sides, and I think he's just the perfect little gift bag. And I also got this from my gran, and I've just written, "This gifting bag is handmade and reusable. Please reuse it year on year. Merry Christmas." And I'm just going to gift that to them, and then they can choose if they want to, who they want to give it to, and leave the label on so they know they can reuse it too. So this is a little handmade gift bag. So I am still making those, lots of those to use for my own gifts and for my friends. So let me just get myself resettled because my bum is numb. Right, you see Abby. Abby, come here. I'm not letting you out of the room, buddy. Yes. You haven't been in a podcast in ages, pal. I don't even know if they can see you, to be honest. Oh, big stretch. You want to say hi? You want to say hi to the world? Hello, world. Oh, he's like, don't pick me up, Mom. That's embarrassing. Are you excited for Christmas? Are you excited for Santa Claus? Oh, he thinks that means his advent calendar. Now he's looking directly at his advent calendar. Anyway, dog break in between whips and finished objects complete. And I'm going to move on to those whips. There are some things that you have seen. I actually don't know what state. So, for example, my porcelain sweater. I don't know what state it was in last time that you saw it. I think I had done one sleeve and I only had one sleeve to go. I have picked up that sleeve and I have knit less than 4 centimetres on that sleeve because I've been working on so many other projects. So it's here. I was going to show you it, but there's really no point because I've knit less than 4 centimetres of plain stockinette on the sleeve. So that's where I am with my porcelain. And the reason that that's not been getting any time is because I had the looming deadline of the Lilyhammer, which I wanted to get done. So I was working on that. And I was also working on one other jumper. And that one other jumper that I was working on was my Christmas jumper for this year. And I'm keeping it in this lovely bag. See, I told you, hairs everywhere. This lovely quilted bag that I made myself. I actually didn't show you, there's only one other bag and I don't know where it's from. This is the bag my Strictly socks are in, it's got doggies on it. My friend got me it for Christmas last year, no idea where it's from. But this quilted bag I made myself. I really like it, perfect for my Christmas jumper this year. And I am almost done, guys. I am almost done. Like I said earlier, it is the 20th of December today and I am desperate to get this done to wear it next week. Today's a Friday, so I've got 2 days to finish this because next week is like our Christmas week. We've got Friendsmasses, family Christmases, another Friendsmas, like just the festive week basically. So I want to wear this and I am so close. So this is being knit in 2 strands. The first is this, which is Coop Knits Socks Yeah DK in the colour, oh, it's got a weird name. I don't think I have a ball band. No, I don't. Can't remember. In an unknown colourway. They're grey colourway. And then the second strand is this, which is Kama Rose Manstrala, which is 68% baby alpaca, 12% merino wool, 16% polyamide and 4% polyester. And this is in the colour 9002. And I'm not going to pronounce that because I will pronounce it wrong. But yeah, this is a sparkly mohair alternative and I love it. I have loved knitting with it. I've tried this jumper on now several times and I adore the way it feels on me. I will be knitting with that again in the future. But enough of that. My Christmas jumper for 2024 is this, and it is almost done. I am on the ribbing of the body. That is how close I am to being finished this bad guy. So let me pop it on before I talk about what it is. It is attached to the needles, so this might not look so elegant. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. My hair is going to be so bad after this. Ugh. And then work it over the boobs. There we go. I did that not so elegantly the other day, and then some stitches popped off, and I was like, I guess. Made him come through and help me. Anyway, this is my Christmas jumper for 2024, and I am obsessed with it. I love it. The yarn is so soft. I think it looks adorable. In person, you can definitely see the sparkle, although I know that the sparkle on camera doesn't really show. Whenever I've tried to take photos or anything of it, you can't really see it. But in person, I can definitely see it. And that's what I wanted. I wanted something that was sparkly enough that when I was wearing it, I was like, I love this, but not too much that everyone would be like, oh my god, she's wearing a bright, glistening jumper. So this is my Christmas jumper for 2024. 1 second, I'm gonna let him out before he whines. My goodness. So you can see how messy my tights are now. This is the Albie show today, apparently, based on how many times he's interrupted today. Right, where was I? What is this jumper? So this is a mashup of two different jumpers. This is the what is this called? The chart for the colour work is from the Filicolana pattern Santa Baby. The rest of this jumper is Tin Can Knits Strange Brew. And the reason for that is that the Filicolana Santa Baby pattern is not size inclusive. The biggest bust size is like 105 centimetres or something, which is barely bigger than my bust size. And I have a 36-inch bust usually. So not size inclusive, didn't really want to associate with that jumper. So all I did was take the chart, because the Filicolana pattern is a free pattern. So I took the chart and I inputted it into the Strange Brew pattern, which I own, and I made it work. So the stitch counts are slightly different, the number of chart repeats are different, but the chart itself is adapted and popped into the Strange Brew pattern. I have no idea if that will work for every size. It worked for my size. It might not work for your size, but it's something that's good to kind of be aware of, that if there's a pattern out there on the market that isn't size inclusive, you can probably make it work with the Strange Brew. However, we should just be encouraging designers to make inclusive patterns. So I don't recommend that you do this all the time. I just really like this pattern. I'd seen it on Pinterest, I'd seen a bunch of people do it, and I decided that I was going to make it work for me. Whenever I'm posting about this, I'm trying not to tag Filicolana Santa Baby. If I have in the past, I apologise. But I'm just calling it my Christmas jumper, and I'm not associating it with that jumper. I'm not going to pop it on the I'm not going to link that pattern in the project page on Ravelry either, because I don't want to encourage people to use it. So I am associating this with the Strange Brew pattern. Enough of that. I love this. I love the way it looks, I love the way it feels, I find it really comfortable. I changed the neckline, so it's a mock neckline because I think that looks really classy. You'll be able to see there is a little bit of rippling here. I think that's to do with the increases that I did. Again, I adapted the pattern, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's to do with the increases. However, I haven't blocked this either, and I'm probably not going to before Christmas time, so I'm just going to accept it, and then I'll block it after Christmas time. I don't think it's too bad. I took it off in case it was the postman, but I'll save you the hilariousness that was watching me trying to get out of that. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm not that fussy about it being a bit bubbly. It's handmade. I'm proud of it being handmade, so it is what it is, and I'll block it after Christmas time if it's still bothering me. But I love this. I think it looks great, and I'm so close to being finished with it, so I'm really hoping this weekend I will get the ribbing done and it will be finished. Other things to say, I have got a lovely stitch marker on here. This is from Chapel View Crafts. It's her reindeer cookie stitch marker. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. My beginning of round marker is also a Chapel View Crafts stitch marker. It is one of her little jumper cookies. obsessed. And then the other thing I kind of wanted to quickly talk about is these needle stoppers. Now, I was watching the Grocery Girls episode last week, I think, and they were talking about their needle stoppers. I love needle stoppers. I think they're a really good thing to put on your knitting, particularly because I have so many different projects and I shove them into different bags. So I love needle stoppers, but the varying price in needle stoppers is ridiculous. I was at Willie Good Gathering this year. I bought a pair from one stand. It was £4. Then the stand next to it was selling them for £10 each. And that's crazy to me. And I was listening to the Grocery Girls talk, and they're selling some Christmas ones. Actually, someone now parked outside my house. Oh my gosh, what is going on today? Anyway, they were selling these exact needle stoppers, right? They called them their ugly Christmas jumper needle stoppers, and these were the ones they were selling. I loved these so much that I was going to go onto the Grocery Girls website, who are Canadian and live in Canada, and buy these, until they said all needle stoppers are silicone beads. Silicone beads that kids use for keychains or businesses use for keychains, and that blew my mind because I had no idea that that's all these are. And if you go onto the internet and type in silicone beads, things like these come up for a fraction of the price. I bought these ones were a bit more expensive because they were all one design. So this came in a pack of 5. So my mum got a pair and I got a pair, and we've got one extra to use in not a matching pair. And these cost £12. So for 2 sets, they were a bit more expensive because these were a specific design. Or were they £8? I think they might have been £8. I'm lying. These were £8. So for 2 sets, they were £4 each, plus you got half another set, right? Still a little bit expensive. But I bought another pack of silicone beads, which included these 2 lovely wreaths. And they were £12, and you got 12 individual silicone beads. So 6 sets of beads. So 6 sets of needle stoppers for £12. So £2 each. And I've got now 6 pairs of Christmassy needle stoppers. Now they don't match, they're like different. So this one's obviously white and green. They're not a perfect pair, but they are significantly cheaper than normal needle stoppers. So if you're interested in needle stoppers but you can't find ones you like, or they're really expensive, silicone beads online. Thank you, you're welcome. That was my learning for this week, and I've now bought a couple pairs and I'm obsessed with them. But anyway, Christmas jumper for 2024. Obsessed. Love it. Can't wait to finish it. Hoping to finish it today or tomorrow, and it's amazing. Can't love it more. Can't love the yarn more. Can't love the project more. Can't wait for it to be done so I can wear it. It is my intention to embellish some of the trees with sequins or beads, but it depends on how closely it is to Christmas before I get to that point, because I don't want to be stressing out and trying to do that and making it a stressful experience. If it's fun, I want to do it because it's fun. So that is also on the cards for me, but that is my Christmas jumper. I feel like this episode has been everywhere. I haven't filmed in ages, so that's probably why. I haven't filmed because I've been so darn busy trying to get everything done, if I'm honest. I have spread myself a little bit thin this month. I had 3 test knits on the go. I had my Lilyhammer, which was massive, and I didn't use the full time for because I'm silly. I have one of the jumpers I'm going to show you next, actually my last jumper to show you, is my Staffin sweater. That is a test knit for the Crafty. And I just kept saying to myself, oh, the deadline's not till next year, the deadline's not till next year. Fully forgetting that next year is in 2 weeks because the Christmas period just time blinds me, really. So yeah, that's in 2 weeks, and I am about to show you what I have so far. And then I'm also in another test knit, which I showed you last time for Rebecca, which is the Kintra sweater, which is due in February. So I physically had to put my Kintra, take the needles off my Kintra, put needle stoppers, like the actual twisty stoppers on, and hide it in a bag. So I wasn't tempted to knit on it this Christmas period because I have had so many other things that I've needed to work on. Between that, my Strictly socks, my Advent socks, I had gift knits to do. I've honestly been so busy knitting wise and crafting wise that I just haven't had time to sort of do all the things that I did want to do. Like I really wanted to knit a pair of Christmassy socks, and that's why I took the needle from my Strictly socks, because I wanted to cast on and knit myself a pair. But with everything else going on, I've just not had the time. And I really hate that, because I want to have the time to knit on whatever I want to knit on. My partner is phoning me. One sec. Yeah, I want to have the time to knit on whatever I want to knit on. And I've been trying really hard to keep this, like, I want Christmas to be relaxing. I want it to be calm. And I'm just not having that experience so far, because I've spread myself too thin. So now my Lilyhammer is done, I am feeling a lot more relieved. I am feeling a lot more calm. And I just want to get that Christmas jumper ribbing done, because once that's done, then I will feel so much better. And that I'll maybe be able to cast on some Christmassy socks, which is what I've wanted to do all month, basically. Anyway, while we've been talking about it, I will show you my Staffin. Rebecca spoke about this in her Vlogmas, so I'm happy to speak about it too. I was part of the size that had a couple of issues with their charts and things. They didn't quite work out, and myself and my friend Maggie, who's Scotland, is also testing and is also doing the same size. The two of us were working on other projects and other test knits, so only started very recently. So I feel a little bit bad that we didn't start right at the beginning of the test deadline and we didn't pick this up sooner. But there are other people doing our size that didn't have any issues, so it's a little bit complex. But anyway, it's all sorted now. Rebecca managed to sort it out with her tech editor, which is fabulous, and I finally cast on. Now, it's on a bit of a small needle, so it's a bit difficult to show you, and that's the back. But this is my Staffin Test knit. The Staffin is a raglan, top-down, all-over texture jumper. I am knitting the jumper version. It also comes in a cardigan and a vest, and this comes out first week in January, I think. The 7th of January, whenever that is. I am knitting mine in a bit of an odd combination, because I wanted to use up some yarn and stash. So I'm knitting mine in 2 strands of Kinross 4-ply in the Highland Coup colourway, and 1 strand of Surrey silk from Needle and Thread in the orange, the colourway that I thought was closest to this, because I did buy these to use together at a yarn festival, but then ended up changing my mind for the project. This is my swatch for the Staffin, so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. There is ribbing, Estonian buttons, and then diamond brocade as well. So on my actual jumper, I have done the ribbing and the short rows, and then I have just done my first, if I spread it out like that, you might be able to see, my first set of Estonian buttons, and I've started, I'm halfway through the diamond brocade for the first time. Everyone else that has knit this flew through it, so I'm really hoping that the same is for me and that I will fly through this, because Rebecca has also kindly asked me if I want to take part in the photographs, and if I'm feeling up to it anxiety wise, I would really like to. So I am hoping that I will be able to do this and get it done for the photos, but I have told her that it depends on if I actually get it done in time, because next week is crazy busy, but I'm hoping to take this as like my knitting when I'm with family members, and I'm just hoping it'll be relaxing enough that I'll be able to do it. However, right now I'm having to look at a lot of charts, so I'm kind of hopeful I would get this to the split, the underarm split, which isn't actually that far away, I don't think. And if I can get it to the underarm split, then it won't be so many charts. At the moment I am working, you have to work from a front and back chart and a sleeve chart, so I'm constantly flicking between 2. But once I get to this underarm split, I'll just be working like the body or the sleeve, so it'll be 1 chart at a time, which I think will make it more manageable when I'm with other people. So yeah, that is where I am with my Staffin. I have these needle stoppers on. These are not from my pack. I bought these last year, but they're little gingerbread men. And I also have a little snowman, a marshmallow snowman, which is another Chapel View Crafts stitch marker, because I'm obsessed with them at the moment. This is in a tiny bag, which is not going to fit it for much longer, so I am going to swap it into my Christmassy bag once my Christmas jumper is done. This is a bag I made myself that was originally intended for Christmas socks. And it actually had my Christmas socks in it before, but now it has my Staffin. So I've only been working on that, I think today is Friday, and I'm pretty sure I cast that on Monday. Oh no, Monday I had friends over, so it must have been Tuesday that I cast that on. and I had to stop, wait for the fix to come in and then restart again. So it's really not been that long, and I've made some pretty decent progress on that. So I'm happy. And that is my final jumper. So at the moment I have 3 jumpers on the needles. Actually, that's not true. 4 jumpers on the needles. I have my porcelain, which is in a little bit of a hiatus because it doesn't need to be done right now. My Christmas jumper, which I'm working on ferociously. My Staffin Test, which I'm also now working on ferociously. And my Kintra, which I've decided I'm not picking up until January. So I am going to be taking the porcelain and the Kintra most likely with me into 2025, which is fine by me. The porcelain is the perfect, for me, all year round jumper. I can wear it in winter, I can wear it in spring. It's probably going to be too warm to wear it in summer, but it's also an autumn jumper as well to me, so I don't mind when I finish that. And the Kintra's not due until February, so I will be keeping myself calm on that front. And the next 2 things are socks. So this is one of my final gift knits that I've got going at the moment. Which is a pair of socks for a little girl in Australia. This is the A Joy to Stitch bag that I use all the time. I recommend her all the time. They're great bags. If you haven't got one already, I would recommend. You can find her on Etsy. And it is housing this adorable little sock set that I have done for this wee girl. Now, she is quite wee, so she has tiny feet. The socks themselves took no time at all to knit up. The embellishments, however, took a little while. So let me see if I put this on my hand, if you'll be able to see it a little bit better. These are unicorn socks. This is a free pattern which is on someone's blog that has been loosely translated into English, but essentially you knit a vanilla sock and then you embellish it with a knitted horn, 2 knitted ears, and then I added the hair and popped the eyes in. So this is the one sock. The other sock, all of the embellishments are knit, but they're not sewn on yet because I hate that part and I'm putting it off, if I'm honest. This yarn that I have used is hand dyed by me. It's on a Stellina, it's a DK Stellina weight base, and I dyed this myself. And then for the toe, I have held together 2 yarns. One is Filicalana Arvetta in the colour 334. And the other was a teeny tiny ball that I had from a mystery swap. So I have no idea what it is. Something makes me want to say it's like fairy dust or something like that, but it's just a gorgeous little pink rainbowy colour. And I held the 2 together to get DK. And then the white that I used for the horn was some white I had in stash. I'm not even sure what it is. Maybe Baby Merino by Drops, but I'm not sure. And the hair of the unicorn is some leftovers I have of my Shoppel Zauber ball. So it's a big mix of a lot of leftovers, these socks, because the actual features take barely any yarn at all. But I love the way these knit up. I love the colour of the yarn I dyed. I do have enough to knit myself something from them. Probably not a pair of socks, but maybe a pair of mittens or something. And I think she's going to really, really love these. I just need to motivate myself to sew on the ears and the horn, essentially, of the next pair. It is summer right now in Australia. I know these are a Christmas present, but I think they're probably used to getting Christmas presents a bit late with all the post, and also it's summer there, so she's not going to be wearing slipper socks in summer really. So I don't mind that these are a little bit behind. Plus, I was asked to do these by Angus's granny, and Angus's mother is the one that posts these things out to them, and she has not asked me about them in terms of being like, I need to post them soon, have you finished them? So I'm not in too much of a rush to get those done, but all I need to do is sew the things on. It will take me less than 20 minutes to do, so I really should just get that done. But that is my, it's like very near finished, and it's my last gift knit that I've got at the moment. And my final whip is my Advent socks. I am knitting the Advent socks from Nicole C. Mendez, which is a yarn dyer. She is based out of Germany, and I bought her Advent, her 24 stripe Advent skein. Actually, my mum bought it for my mum and myself. And so if you are also getting that, today is the 20th, but I've only done 19 stripes. So if you're also getting that and you're behind or whatever, or you don't want to see them, then please look away for this next bit. I am going to be showing them now. But I've knit mine with a contrast heel, toe and cuff, and the contrast I used was actually the first hand-dyed yarn that I ever purchased, which is by Birdstreet Yarns. She caked it up for me because I didn't have a caking machine at the time. This doesn't have a colourway on it because it was caked up, but it is this beautiful cream with blue and purple and pink speckles in. This I must have bought 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and it's a sock set, has a little blue mini that comes with it, and using this as my contrast has made me intensely want to knit it up as a pair of socks. So I could see these being my January socks because I've had this in my stash for the longest time. So that is my contrast, and then this is just the ball band from the advent. So it's 80/20 and it's just classic sock weight, 400 meters for 100 grams. And this is what it is looking like. So I'm doing a slip stitch pattern which came from the Twizzler socks, which I've done many times before. I did a 2x2 rib cuff, and then I've done the pattern. I've done a slip stitch heel to try and keep it in line with the slip stitch pattern on the leg, and then I've just done a heel flap and gusset. And this is us on our days. This also has a Chapel View Crafts stitch marker, a little gingerbread man, and I have mixed opinions on this advent. Now, I don't think this is the dyer's fault really at all in the most part, because I think I had a misconception on what this would be. I'm incredibly festive, if you couldn't tell, and I don't know, I was expecting more Christmassy colours. I also know how unrealistic that is, because how do you get 24 Christmassy colours in one go? And it was a mystery sock set, so I cannot moan at all at the dyer for their dyeing, because it wasn't them. I think I just had a missed my perception of this was different than it should be. I actually don't mind the way it's come out. My mum, who is also knitting this sock, does not like it because it's not Christmassy and she's just kind of doing it out of obligation now. But I actually don't mind the stripes. I think it's quite fun that they're all different. My only thing is that, and again, it's because you're trying to do 24 individual colours, so I get that that's really tricky, but a lot of these colours are really similar. These pinks here are all different but very similar. The purples that you've got like spread across here are all very similar, and these two, like the two browns here, are maybe one shade different, as well as these two yellows. So like the foot here is actually the biggest thing that annoys me. Like that's two purples, two taupey colours and two yellows, right, one after the other. And that, I think, like they are so similar. I'm not even sure that I would, you could definitely say they're different colours, but they're like one shade different. So it's like, you know. But like I say, I'm really enjoying knitting it. I'm really enjoying knitting this for my advent project because I'm keeping up with it. I've never kept up with an advent project before. And it's really fun to only knit 5 rows a day on your sock and know that you're still on top of it. I didn't have enough needles to knit these concurrently, otherwise I definitely would have. So this is another project that I'm gonna have to try and get done before the end of the year, because these are my December socks. I don't have another pair of December socks on the needles. So unless I cast on the Christmas socks I want to cast on and get both done by the end of the year, like I'm relying on getting the second one of these done because I need to. But the problem with the self-striping cake is that I'm pulling from the centre, so I don't want to pull from the outside because that will make the socks, the stripes in a different colour. So I just kind of need to wait until the 24th. Unless I rush ahead, I need to wait until the 24th so I can cast on and try and knit the sock again in the second week, the sort of daft days after Christmas. So this is my advent sock. Again, the yarn's by Nicole C. Mendez. I actually haven't said this at all, but the needles I use for socks are 2.25 Chow red lace needles. And I forgot to tell you that, but that's why I always knit all my socks on, unless I've run out of sock needles, in which case I sometimes knit on a 2.25 needle. But usually if I've done that, I'll let you know. For the colour work of my November socks that I showed you right at the beginning of this podcast, I did use a 2.75 needle because that's what the pattern suggested. But other than that, I always knit on 2.25 mil. And that is everything, I think, that I've got to show you. I have been receiving advents opening advent, sorry. I have the Cookston Crafts Succulent Advent that I'm opening on a daily basis. It is stunning. There are several times I've messaged Claire the dyer and just said, these yarns are so good. I've not knit them up into a project yet because I couldn't decide on what project I wanted to do and I didn't want to rush my decision. So that is being opened just now. It will be a project next year sometime. I'm also getting the Birdstreet Yarns Advent. They did a 4 Sundays Advent, and it's like you get a sock set and then a set of minis and a sock set and a set of minis. I'm really enjoying that too. My mum is loving that Advent calendar. It's not hitting the spot exactly for me, but again, because it's not overly Christmassy, I can use the yarns anytime throughout the year, which is a positive. It's just, I love overly Christmassy things. And then I'm also getting the Giddy Yarns Grinch Advent, which is a weekly Advent as well. And I'm loving that. I got it on the Stellina sock base and I'm just adoring it. So far we have had something to represent the Grinch, Max and Cindy Lou, and I love all 3 colourways. The Grinchy one could have been a bit more Grinchy for my liking. However, my favourite colour is teal turquoise, and that's what that colour was. And so, yeah, okay, it might not scream Grinch to me, but it is my favourite colour. So, I'm winning either way, really. I've also recently received my club from Wildflower Yarns, but it's over there and it's got my address on it, and I can't really be bothered messing around with that. But it is the Banshee colourway, and it again is the turquoisey, tealy, minty colour, which is my favourite colour, which is amazing. And then what other yarn have I received? Oh, I can tell you what yarn I've received. So, because of all this sort of stuff with Christmassy yarn and wanting to feel Christmassy, and also my mum just had her hip replaced last week, so she's been a little bit down, struggling, a little bit sore, all of which you would expect after a major surgery. I decided I wanted to start making her an advent for next year. So I went online and found all of my favourite dyers, and I've bought Christmassy yarn from all of them. I bought Christmassy yarn from Birdstreet Yarns. I am waiting on a package coming from Giddy Yarns, and there is some in my Etsy basket that I am desperate to buy, but I'm waiting to see if they put it on sale. Like now we're really close to Christmas. Because I want to do like a weekly advent for my mum in December. And I think she's gonna love it. I already took it to her and let her pick one colourway to do. And it was one I had in stash actually that she chose, which was the Nicole C. Mendez Christmas Cookies colourway. So that's a striped Christmassy yarn. And I wound that up for her yesterday and took it down to her. So she's going to be knitting up that this festive season. But the rest of the colours I have bought, I'm keeping a little bit of a surprise from her. And then I'm going to wrap them all up in tissue paper, and I'm hoping to have at least 8 total, and then we'll have a little bag, and between us, every Sunday of Advent we'll get together and we'll pick one out of the bag at random. We've also agreed that we will give our leftovers to the other person, so regardless of who picks out which colourway and knits that up, we will then gift the sort of second half of the skein to the other person, so we'll get to knit all of the colourways. But yeah, I am loving doing that. And my mum has also expressed how much she loves minis. She's obsessed with minis. So next year I think she's going to buy herself a mini skein advent, like a daily advent. And I'm also thinking that I might throughout the year collect minis and make her a mini skein advent as well. Because if I start thinking about that now and I do it all the way to December next year, then it won't seem like such a big investment. Whereas obviously when you like buy them all at once, it's a lot of money. So yeah, that's what I've been collecting yarn for. But I don't know if my mum watches this, and I'd rather not show them. But I did buy 4 Birdstreet Yarns colourways and 2 Giddy Yarns colourways, which aren't here yet. But yeah, I'm obsessed with them, and they're all stunning, and I can't wait to knit with them next year, if I'm honest. Let me just do a sweep of the room, check if there's anything else I've missed, and then if not, I'll come back and I will sign off for 2024. So I think there was one other thing, having scanned the room, that I want to show you before I sign off for the year. Or the podcast. Sign off the podcast for the year, should I say. And that is I spoke on and on and on about how I wanted to cast on some Christmas socks, and then I didn't show you the yarn that I want to cast on. So I've got it here. I've also got a new project bag, which I'm going to show you as well. Just messing about with my hair. Come on here, go. There we go. Okay, so it's in this gorgeous Christmassy bag, which I made myself. A little Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse Christmassy bag. And it's just a commercial sock yarn. I think commercial sock yarn is underrated, like I said before. And this is a West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a couple of videos ago, but I saw this colourway of their new Christmassy colourways, and it was the only one that I really was interested in. And then my mum was making an order on Wool Warehouse, so I asked her if she would throw a ball in for me. So this is the colour Yuletide, which is number 1208, and it's their West Yorkshire Spinners signature sparkle 4-ply, reared, sheared and spun in Britain, and this is the colourway. It is very similar to their gingerbread colourway, which I was also obsessed with, but it's sparkly and it's got gold running through it. And I think it's going to be striped. I think it's going to be like green stripe and then the white and orange stripe and then a green stripe and then a white and red stripe. You know, that's what I think it's going to be like. I don't actually know. I've never seen it knit up. But, so it's a similar vibe to the gingerbread colourway, but different colours. And I really want to knit this up. I can't decide if I want to do it in a pattern. I can't decide if I want to just knit it vanilla. I don't know if I want to add colour work to it. A lot of my Christmassy socks are colour work, so I'm kind of thinking maybe just knit it vanilla. But I'm really excited about this. I've never knit with their sparkle base, and I think that's what drew me in. But I really love this colourway, so I'm going to cast this on, I think, hopefully soon. And while I got that out, I also found the box of my needle stoppers that I was just yammering on about. And this is all of the needle stoppers that came in that set. So this on the back says 12-piece silicone focal beads, and that's what they called them. And this is what they look like. I bought this set, if I'm completely honest, mainly for one particular bead. And it was this guy. I had seen these needle stoppers being sold, but they were very expensive, and then when I saw this bead in the kit, I knew I had to get it. I love the animated Grinch. It's my favourite Christmas film. I've actually been thinking about knitting one of the scarves. If you've seen the animated Grinch, at the sort of beginning, when the Grinch first meets Cindy Lou has this gorgeous two-tone pink scarf on, the Grinch has this red and white striped scarf on, and then her little friend Grouper has a white and like navy and teal scarf on, and I love all of them. And I've been really thinking about making one of them for winter time. Anyway, this reminds me of the animated Grinch and I love it. So I had to get this one when I saw it was in the pack. But yeah, so there's like a pair of mittens that do match. There's 2 different coloured Christmas trees, and then the rest of them are a bit more random. But like, do they really need to match your needle stoppers? Probably not. So I would recommend finding a pack of these if you like them and using them as your needle stoppers. I have been wanting to film this video for about 2 weeks and I've just not had the time or the energy. I'm an incredibly anxious person. I have clinical anxiety, generalised anxiety, whatever it's called. I've been diagnosed with generalised anxiety, and that means that I struggle sometimes. And I had like a month of crazy busy at work, and then I finished that and I had a Christmas party and everything else, all of which drained my social battery. I then had a week of regular work that was very busy to finish up the year. And then I finished on the Friday. My mum went into the hospital on the Monday for her surgery, and then that was another very stressful week. Something that we were hoping wasn't stressful turned into something quite stressful. And I am incredibly impacted by stuff like that. I struggle with medical things. I struggle with, I'm quite squeamish as well as that fueling my anxiety. So yeah, there's just been a lot, and I think I hadn't realised how much of a toll it was taking on me, if I'm honest, until recently. So I think that's why I've been knitting some days non-stop and other days I haven't picked up my needles, because my emotions have just been all over the place, if I'm honest. So this last week that I've had off completely by myself, today's Agnes's last day at work, but I've been off all week, I have done whatever I pleased, and I never do that. On the Monday we had Friendsmas with my friends from work, and I had a lovely time. We had a lovely dinner. I was nervous about it, but we did it, and it was actually delightful. On Tuesday I didn't wake up until 11 a.m. I came down the stairs, I lay on the sofa, and I watched TV. And I didn't knit, I didn't think to myself, oh, you're meant to be being productive. I just watched TV all day. And it was just what I needed. And then this week has followed pretty much that same pattern, where I have allowed myself to sleep till whenever I've needed to, and then I have either knit or done some sewing or done some baking, just done whatever took my fancy that day. And a lot of the time it has been sitting down, watching TV and knitting, completely uninterrupted, with no expectation on what else I'm meant to be doing. And it's just been really nice, actually. I still feel quite anxious. I think this time of year makes me anxious anyway because of all the social obligations and seeing a lot of people. But I'm trying really hard this year to just embrace it, embrace the Christmas period, but also say no when I want to say no. Do things that make me happy, set boundaries so that I am making myself happy, and just show up for myself the way I show up for my friends. If my friends are having a hard time, I'm the first person to tell them to prioritise themselves, but I don't take that advice when it comes to me. So that's what I'm trying to achieve this Christmas time, is prioritising myself. If I need to take 5 minutes to myself at someone's house, I'll do that. If I want to leave somewhere early, I will. I'm really just prioritising me and making the most of my festive period with my family. And by my family, in that instance, I mean Angus and Albie, doing what we want to do, seeing who we want to see when we see them, and then also that includes my extended family, so both Angus's family and mine. Just making sure that I get to spend time with the people I love and my friends, which is huge and not something I've previously done. And you can tell I got anxious about it because I said in that bit about 5 million times. But anyway, so apologies if I've felt a bit all over the place or a bit rambly or everything's been fast or slow or whatever. It's just where my brain is at the moment. But I definitely wanted to film this video for you. It had been too long, and today is my last day in the house by myself before Angus gets home for Christmas, and I just wanted to get it filmed for you in the relative quiet, although Albie interrupted us about 6 million times already. All of that to say, I hope that your festive season is wonderful, whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, is the other one Kwanzaa? I don't know what that is, I apologise. Whether you don't celebrate any of those things at all and you've just got some time off work, or you might not have any time off work, I hope that the end of this year is whatever you need it to be, restful, magical, Christmassy or not. I hope you get time to do your crafting, whatever crafting that might be. I did want to ask you, because of what I explained about my mum's advent, if you have any Christmassy yarns or dyers that you know have Christmassy yarns that you love, please do drop them in the comments down below. I'm looking at both commercial yarns and hand-dyed yarns, so anything that you see that you think, oh, this would suit an advent that Jo's making, then please pop it down below. I'd love to hear about new dyers, I always do. And yeah, I hope that this season brings you a lot of joy. And if it doesn't, if this season is difficult for you, then I hope you have a restful season and that you're able to get through it in a way that you're happy with. Whether that means literally just getting through it or trying to make the most of it if you can. I know this isn't easy for everyone. So all that to say, I hope you are well. I hope you remain well for the rest of this year and have a cracking start to 2025. It has been lovely to share 2024 with you guys and through my podcast. I am still really enjoying podcasting. I always told myself I would stop if I stopped enjoying it. And the fact that I'm still here is proof that I am loving what I'm doing. I just do it whenever I feel like it. And if I'm not feeling like filming, I don't film. So I'm really proud of the relationship I built with this in terms of how I am managing it, and I hope that you guys don't mind either. So yeah, enough rambling. I will be back, hopefully. I'm not making any promises, but it's my intention to be back before the end of the year with a what I knit in 2024 video. I also want to do a sort of sock box video. I've seen these and I love them, where you go through all the socks you've knit this year, and I would love to do that. So I'm thinking I will either do a what I've knit this year or a my socks of 2024. I'm not sure I'll get both done, and I'm not sure I'll get them done before the end of the holidays, so it might be like a beginning of January video, but I want to film it, so hopefully I will film it for you guys to see. So that will probably be the next time you see me, and then I'll be back for my first video of 2025, my first podcast, with hopefully some more finished objects to show you. So have a wonderful festive season in whichever way you celebrate. Enjoy your knitting, enjoy your crafting, enjoy the yummy food and the company if you have any. And I wish you, I celebrate Christmas, so I wish you a Merry Christmas if you too celebrate, and a Happy New Year, and I will see you in 2025. Bye guys.